I was
The
looking
applause,
right at you
yeah.
at my LeBron line over there, big
I
fella.
know.
We were
Can't spell his name without MVP, right?
Exactly right.
Yes.
Turns out you can't spell James. You need the M in there. I kind of got that wrong yesterday. We'll look past that and tell you that it is a huge 2 weeks in the National Football League calendar, maybe the most significant of the year. And these 2 weeks could change the entire landscape of football as we know it. Thursday, of course, is the deadline for teams to use their franchise tags. The Cowboys could franchise Dak Prescott, the Bengals, A.J. Green. As of yesterday now, the deadline for players to vote on the new CBA has been pushed back to Saturday night. We'll tell you what that means coming up. Russell Wilson, J.J. Watt, Aaron Rodgers all spoken out against the deal. 6 days from today, the negotiating period for free agency begins. Tom Brady, of course, among the players who could begin negotiating with teams. And then on Wednesday, 4 Eastern, the new league year and free agency begin. Phillip Rivers, Amari Cooper, Jameis Winston among the players who could be on the move at that point. And one of the most popular rumored destinations for Tom Brady through this process has been Tennessee. The Titans eliminated Brady and the Pats in the playoffs. They got to the title game with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. Wide receiver A.J. Brown was asked about the possibility of replacing Tannehill with Brady.
Of course, we would want Ryan back, of course. But, unfortunately, if things don't go as planned, if we get Tom Brady or whatever, who wouldn't want to play with Tom Brady? I'm just going to be honest. He know how to do it. He won Super Bowls, and I really want to be around him. But we're fortunate enough to get Tom Brady this year. It'll be insane. But regardless of whoever we get, I just want them just to hurry up so I can know who my quarterback will be this upcoming year.
All right, and we would all like it to hurry up, but we're going to have to wait until next Wednesday, we would assume. But this is why we have Diana here today. So Tennessee has been a spot that we have sort of circled for quite some time based on the relationship between the head coach, Mike Vrabel, and Brady, and other factors. What are you hearing about Tennessee and Brady?
I think at this point right now, Tennessee is trying to work a deal out with Ryan Tannehill. This is a quarterback that they believe can help them get back to the AFC Championship game and possibly to the Super Bowl, which obviously is the goal for them. I think it makes sense in terms of their interest in Tom Brady, knowing the connection between Mike Vrabel and Brady, and we saw the stuff on social media with them FaceTiming. They obviously have a great relationship, but I also think that relationship is the reason why they're not interested in signing Tom Brady, because it makes it really complicated. Because they're going to have real man-to-man conversations that could possibly affect their relationships as friends because of what they want to do on the field. So I think at this point, Ryan Tannehill will be the future quarterback in Tennessee if they can figure out a way to make it work contractually.
All right, so then let's put it this way for the moment, and I want to sort of bookmark that for the minute. Acho, this coming season, do the Titans have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill or Tom Brady as their quarterback?
It's Tom Brady, and that's one of the easiest questions you could ask, Greeny. Ryan Tannehill had a phenomenal season last year. A phenomenal season, and I'm taking nothing away from Ryan Tannehill. But with that being said, that one season was an outlier. So I don't want to bank and mortgage the whole Titans' future on an outlier of a season, which Ryan Tannehill had. Again, phenomenal season. Tom Brady, his entire career has been phenomenal. And so while the Titans have a dominant run game, a solid defense, you just need that one missing piece, a quarterback who is clutch. Tannehill was very good. I prefer Tom Brady.
So as I look at this, you talk about it maybe being an outlier. Maybe it's actually the trend. Maybe he was finally put in the right situation to where he didn't have to necessarily carry the whole team.
Okay.
It was the Miami Dolphins, or he was the first-round pick of them, and they give him the big deal, and their expectations were there. And then he maybe matured a little bit and became a better player. Is Tom Brady more accomplished? Absolutely. That's not a question with anybody. But I think these teams are beginning to start to look at this and weigh out. And, the indulgence there, getting that nice big piece of red velvet cake for dessert, it sounds fantastic. Yeah. And you want to eat that thing up. The problem is the next day, you may have regrets when you wake up. You're like, that was great in the short term.
But you're not waking up with regrets, but you have Tom Brady. You know that, BC. Tom Brady doesn't come with regrets. Tom Brady comes with joy and success.
We've been operating under this assumption that there are 8 teams, maybe more, involved in these Tom Brady sweepstakes. Is that accurate with what the market actually looks like who want Tom Brady?
Look, you're going to say Tom Brady, and every owner, every head coach, every GM is going to go, I'm intrigued. But the reality is, from just talking to sources around the league, it seems Brady is a lot more interested in teams than teams are actually interested in Tom Brady. I think a lot of organizations are sitting back right now watching to see how the next few days go. Adam Schefter was reporting yesterday that this week he expects Brady and the New England Patriots to have some sort of conversation because they need to make a decision. New England needs to figure out what they're going to do here at the quarterback spot. Brady, you coming back or not? I think once that conversation happens, the chips begin to fall. But in terms of Brady's interest in these other teams versus teams being interested in Brady, I think it goes like this to this.
Wow.
Wow. So I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. And this is my favorite phrase now that we hear every year this time and never otherwise do. Are you saying the market for Brady isn't as robust as we have what might otherwise assume or in some cases have been led to think?
I think at this point right now, Brady's interest in other teams outweighs the amount of teams that are interested. Are there teams out there that are all in that I've talked to? I talked to Tampa Bay. They would love to have Tom Brady. They are willing to give Tom Brady the things he needs, he wants, and some of those things that Brady wants. Control over roster. He wants to be part of the playbook, or at least making decisions, on the play calling. If you take a look at what Bruce Arians has done in the past with Ben Roethlisberger, they both have been very public about how BA's let Ben call plays. So talk about a match made in heaven in terms of if that's what Brady's looking for. If he wants control, Bruce Arians is the guy he should match up with.
What I'm interested in is I don't know how much of that is some coaches respecting who they currently have on their roster and some coaches who don't care. I mean, think about Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind defending Jameis Winston at all whatsoever, whereas other coaches, Mike Vrabel, it's in his best interest not to make Ryan Tannehill upset, so to speak. So what's so interesting with this is, Diana, is which coaches and organizations are playing it coy, whereas is there a true lack of interest in Tom Brady? Because I personally, maybe I'm living in the past, but I just don't see how you can look at Tom Brady and not be interested.
Well, I love Tom Brady. I think there is interest there, but you have to look at what's your viable option. And when you look at Tennessee, they're in negotiations with Ryan Tannehill. They're working on this. We threw out San Francisco, the 49ers. They still have Jimmy Garoppolo under contract. There's two other teams. You mentioned Tampa Bay. You mentioned the LA Chargers. LA's already said that they've parted ways with Phillip Rivers, so they have an opening. Tampa Bay, not to my knowledge, they're not really actively negotiating with Jameis Winston, so they have a void there that you could take a guy and then plug and play, as opposed to having to make a decision and saying, well, we're not only going to sign Tom Brady, but we're also going to move on from somebody else.
And aren't there frequently surprises? And we just did on SportsCenter a half hour ago. Acho and Bobby and I were on there, and they were talking about the possibility of San Francisco. That was something that sort of came up and maybe just disappeared into the ether almost as quickly. But if it is media born, it's easy to understand why it would be, because it's such an extraordinarily fascinating possibility. But some of these, what might be described as a surprise scenario, is that what we're waiting for here? Well, all of a sudden on Monday, Diana will be on our show saying, I didn't see this coming, but here's a team no one was talking about.
Yeah, I think the team that we need to put back up on the board that we're all walking away from is New England. I think we, for whatever reason, because some of the reporting at ESPN has been excellent from at least the side of Brady, that, yeah, he is interested to see what the market is. But what is that market going to be? I don't think any of us have ever really considered that maybe some of this wooing or some of the interest that's being put out there on the side of Brady is to save him embarrassment if the market isn't, to use your word, as robust as you would think for Tom Brady. Because I hear what you're saying. How do you not have interest in Tom Brady? But when you start looking at it and really start breaking down the details of it, is it really the smart decision for your organization? And I think there's a very good amount of teams out there who do not believe that Tom Brady is their answer.
But it takes two to tango. And if I'm Brady, now look, I understand that the pull of being in one organization for your entire career and all of the history that he has there is attractive. But if I am genuinely just looking at this from a what gives me the best chance to win next year scenario, we just heard A.J. Brown talking from the Tennessee Titans. He would be overwhelmingly the best weapon they have in New England, right? I mean, if he's going to sit back and assess the situation, is New England his best chance to win?
Yes, New England's his best chance to win, along with a place like the San Francisco 49ers, as far-fetched as that may seem. To win for Tom Brady, you need a good defense and you need a good running game. New England didn't have a good running game, but they had an outstanding defense. So it's New England, it's the Titans, it's the 49ers.
And one of the things I think we're looking at Tom, and I think a part of it is Tom really maybe wanted to look out and see what else was out there.
Yes.
But then you start staring into the abyss and you realize that, well, maybe New England might be the best option. And make no mistake about it. They're calling around right now, I'm sure, trying to figure out who can they bring in at wide receiver? Who can they bring in at tight end to try to amplify their weapons? Whether Tom Brady's the quarterback or not, Bill Belichick knows they need to upgrade that roster.
Well, look, and that's why the timeline here is so important. We're talking about the deadline to franchise tag being on Thursday. Let's get to this as we go back to the Bucs a little bit. These quotes from Rondé Barber saying